And welcome back to another edition of the MMA Meltdown Show. We're here with Steve Gable, 5-1, fighting Ricardo Trillone on the Bellator Fighting Championship 55 on October 22nd. Hey, Steve, how's it going, buddy?
It's great, Matt. It's good to be here. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing awesome now that I'm talking to a Bellator potential champion. How exciting is that to be able to fight at the Bellator? Not only to fight at the Bellator championships at that level, but to be on TV, MTV.
It feels great. You know, I grew up watching MTV as a kid, and you know, I'm no spring chicken. I'm 35 years old now. I didn't even get into MMA until I was 30. So, you know, to have come this far in 5 years and only have, 6 fights, it feels really good. And I work extremely hard at it, and I'm ready for the challenge.
And that's definitely awesome. I mean, for you to come in at that age, especially when you look at the industry now and where this sport is going, I mean, you're having kids who are starting training as little as 7, 8 years old. I mean, there's even a page on Facebook where it's called The Kids of MMA, and it's nothing but little kids who are getting down like that.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. I'm stoked to see that. You know, I love the sport. I believe in the sport. I did jiu-jitsu. I got into it at 23, and then I parlayed that success into mixed martial arts training. But to think of kids, at 4 and 5 and 6 actually starting MMA and taking just what you need from wrestling, just what you need from jiu-jitsu, just what you need from Muay Thai or boxing or judo or taekwondo or whatever, that they're incorporating in. They actually, the sport of MMA at that age is just, it's priceless. I wish I had been born a few years later.
Right. And you're saying you watched MTV when you were younger. That's when they still actually played music, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, there was a time when MTV played music videos. I think that radio killed the video star was the first video ever on MTV. So video killed the radio star, something like that. I get hit in the head a lot, so it's hard for me to remember sometimes.
Nice. And it's kind of interesting when you talk about the kids and their involvement in MMA. When you say, take just what you need from wrestling, take what you just need from boxing or jiu-jitsu, do you feel that's kind of an advantage or a disadvantage that you're not completely understanding the entire sport before you move on to something else, or do you just think that's the way MMA is working now?
Well, it's definitely, there's a lot of opinion on that, and I see that as, you have your traditionalists that think that you should be, say, a black belt level in jiu-jitsu or a very high-level wrestler or a pro-level boxer to understand that science and then add other martial arts in, but have your base. And then there's the mentality of truly just taking what you need for MMA and cultivating those skills and using that in the cage. I'm a fan of really incorporating everything. I mean, I love jiu-jitsu, Matt. I love jiu-jitsu. It's my base. I believe in it. But I mean, when it comes to mixed martial arts, especially professional mixed martial arts, I'm using again half, maybe 55, 60% of the jiu-jitsu that I've learned, and that's what I've done for almost 12 years now. So that's my base. I do believe in polishing your sharpest tool, so to speak. But at the end of the day, man, I think that somebody could have not necessarily my jiu-jitsu level and be strong in wrestling, strong in Muay Thai, and still be a better mixed martial arts fighter.
Absolutely. And fight fans, again, you're listening to the MMA Meltdown Show. We have Steve Gable, 5-1, fighting again Ricardo Trillone at the Bellator Fighting Championship 55 on October 22nd. This interview is brought to you by TrueHonor.com. Go check out their really great gear. I think it's gear that's second to none. Enter the code that's MMA Meltdown and receive 25% off of your order. But let's get down to business, Steve. Here, you're 5-1. Obviously, 3 of your wins are by submission, but you're fighting Ricardo, and, he's kind of a bad dude. I mean, he's riding a 6-win fight streak. I mean, a lot of his wins, I would say the majority of his wins come by the way of submission. I mean, you have 3 submission wins on your own. How are you approaching this fight, knowing how dangerous this guy is on the ground?
Well, first of all, I love the challenge. I didn't get into the sport to fight tuna cans or to take lesser challenges. Again, at my age, I want to fight tough guys because I know I only have a few years left. I've developed a lot of personal growth through the sport, and to fight a guy like Ricardo who's 13-1, he's got 5 TKOs or knockouts He's got 6 submission victories. He's got 2 wins by decision and only 1 loss by submission. That was against Ben Henderson. So I certainly have my hands full. He's very tough. My approach is I've become a very well-rounded fighter in the last year that I've taken off from fighting. Actually getting in the cage. I've been out to Thailand twice. I've had wrestling camps. I've worked with a great boxing coach for a while, so I'm really developing and cultivating all those other aspects of the sport. So I'm ready for anything, but my biggest advantage over just about anybody in my weight would be my cardio. My cardio, I'm really going to take this fight to him. I'm going to take it to him. He's going to realize he's in a real fist fight. You know, it's not going to be a jiu-jitsu match or, you know, a boxing match. I mean, I'm going to get in there and we're going to get real physical from the beginning. I expect nothing less from him. From all the footage I've seen, he seems like a very well-rounded fighter. I know he has knockout power, submissions, and he's a good sportsman, as am I. I'm expecting, you know, 2 lions to really go at it on October 22nd.
Now, you talk about this time that you took off. Again, just to kind of remind the listeners, your last fight was August 6th of 2010. You haven't been completely out of the sport. In fact, it's the complete opposite. You've been honing your skills. You know, you've been getting better, like you're saying, your jiu-jitsu. You've gone out of the country a few times to train. How important is it, though, to actually get in the cage to avoid ring rust? I mean, really, training is only going to be able to give you so much experience, but being in that cage is what really you need at this point, especially when you talk about your age and you need to be able to move fast. I mean, ideally, how often do you want to try to start fighting? Again, referencing to your age and your situation.
Sure. Well, to the original question, as far as how much will the ring rust affect me? Every person is different. I don't think I'll be affected by it too much. My sparring, the level of sparring that I've done, and the quality of people that I've sparred with has increased dramatically over the last year. I mean, I've sparred with Lumpini champions in Thailand, and believe me, the Thais they don't go easy on us foreigners. I mean, we were going at it, and I had bruises for a week and a half to prove it. I'm grappling with some of the top guys in the world, and I'm really pushing myself every single day. You look at say, take a guy like Rashad Evans. He was out for a year. He came back. He put on an incredible performance. Some guys come back. There's a lot of nerves and jitters, and I'm always a little nervous. But I kind of use that. That fuels me. You know, it's not being scared or anything. It's just you learn to control those nerves and use them to your advantage. And the year off has just helped me. Ideally, I would like to fight 3 times a year. I had a few fights that fell through. You know, things happen. You know, and I know that's no one's fault. Sometimes things just happen. So we had some fights fall through, but ideally about 3 times a year. But I'm not expecting any ring rust. I'm expecting to come out strong and fight hard for 15 minutes.
And, kind of taking it to the card that you're fighting again, Bellator Fighting Championship 55 on October 22nd, how crazy is it for you to kind of see the transition? Because, again, you've been in it since you were 30, so, you haven't had the tenure that some of the other guys have, but you've been in it definitely long enough to be able to see the transition from MMA's kind of this brute, fighting style that is just barbaric, to it now being on MTV2, it's on Spike, it's going to be on FX, I mean, it's even going to be on Fox now. I mean, how big is that to fighters like you, to where it's just so exciting, to where you can make a mainstream name for yourself, really, with 2 or 3 good wins?
It's gratifying. Obviously, that produces a lot of opportunity for his fighters. But more importantly, even not just looking at the now, but looking into the future, I think it's great for the sport itself. I intend on teaching this sport for years when I'm too old to be getting punched in the face anymore. And I think it's great for a lot of the kids to have an avenue where in football you're going to go a 160-pound guy can go against a 300-pound guy. It's nice in MMA where you get sized up accordingly. I think there are a lot less injuries in this sport than a lot of other traditional sports, and I just love to see the sport growing and all the opportunity that it presents itself for the fighters to actually make a living. Because if they want to see the best fights possible, as in the fans, the guys have to be able to train full time. There's a huge difference between a guy that can train full time and a guy that's working 9 to 5 and training out of his garage, or maybe going to a gym 3 or 4 times a week to try to do a fight. So the conditioning, the timing, the technical aspects, everything. It just provides a better product, for the fan, which is in a sense what they're paying for when they tune in to watch. So.
Absolutely. And again, Steve, I understand right now, you're in preparation for your fight. Right now, you're actually in between training sessions, so I do definitely want to thank you for your time. Is there any fans, friends, sponsors that you wanted to take time to thank?
Well, I want to thank all my friends and my fans. I feel like my fans are my friends as well. I want to thank, of course, True Honor, Jocko, B-Fam, that's Brothers from Another Mother, Way Right Protein, and Project Discipline, taking good care of me, all my supplement needs, all my clothing needs. They've helped me out a lot to be able to train full-time for this fight. And yeah, we're going to do this, man. I'm pumped. You're great at what you do, Matt. I appreciate the time. And for all the fans out there, I hope you guys tune in October 22nd.
Yeah, absolutely. October 22nd, Bellator Championships 55 could be seen on MTV2. Is that right, Steve?
Yes, sir. MTV2.
All right. Well, you've listened to another edition of the MMA Meltdown Show. You have a good day, fight fans.